Let's get to the point.
Gonna bring more bold predictions, more right than wrong. And how do we know? We can prove it. Hang on, you're hitting the road with Jake Wimberly on the Afternoon Drive. He's live and local on ESPN 105.9 The Zone and online at thezone1059.com.
Taking you through a Monday inside the Ameristar Casino studios. Again, apologies for the voice. I feel great. Hopefully it will be back with us here in the next day or so. We're brought to you by the College Corner. Go to collegecornerstore.com. Get your bowl gear. Get bowl gear ready at the College Corner Store. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, a little Alabama, LSU, and Southern Miss as you get ready for basketball season as well. 2 locations to serve you, Ridgeland Highway 51 and Flowood at Dogwood Mall. Talking about the Egg Bowl, coaching searches, and more. And now we shift out to sunny Los Angeles, California. Greg Katz, WeAreSC, to talk about Lincoln Riley to USC. Greg, I hope your Thanksgiving was well, my friend. How are you?
I am still in a state of shock.
Greg,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to ask you, did a lot of times, especially, people that's inside programs, you cover these programs, you kind of know if something's coming down the pipe here. Were you totally taken out of, off guard with this? Was there a short list? Was Lincoln Riley on the radar?
Completely blindsided. Everybody was blindsided. Everyone had talked, people I had talked with, both in and out of the program, was saying, okay, Matt Campbell will be named the head coach on Monday or Tuesday. I think everybody was settling in. I was talking to somebody actually on the phone Sunday, and I was saying, yeah, Campbell, he's going to be the guy, and everything indicated to that, and everybody was comfortable with that. And then somebody just said, hey, we saw a thing from Bleacher Report that Lincoln Riley is the next SC head coach. And I said, where are you getting that from? And then all of a sudden, I started cross-checking, and then it was like not even the LA Times knew it. I mean, that should tell you something, because the LA Times has been, kind of the mouthpiece for USC in this area. And they had just run a big puff piece on Mike Bone, the athletic director, the week before. So, you'd think maybe they knew, but they didn't. It was just like, are you kidding me type of reaction. I don't think anybody out here still believes it.
Greg Katz is on your radio. WeAreSC, covers USC, the Pac-12, and college football. Talking Lincoln Riley, the new head football coach at USC, Monday edition of the program. Yeah, Greg, when I saw it, I immediately thought, okay, this makes perfect sense for both parties involved here. Just for me, and I want to get your take on this, because a lot of people in SEC country started, clowning on the social media platforms, Twitter and Facebook, saying, how Lincoln's scared of the SEC, Oklahoma's coming. I don't believe it's anything like that. I think if you look at the road to the playoff, it's kind of the Dabo Swinney approach right now. The way, and I know Clemson is down this year, but with Swinney at Clemson, he has lived in the playoff. USC, and you and I have talked about this on this show several times, should be living in the playoff. I mean, literally, and no disrespect to anybody out there, but Oregon and Utah and maybe one or two more on a given year, USC should out-recruit everybody, they should outplay everybody, and they should be in the conversation with Alabama and with Ohio State, and with bringing in Lincoln Riley, a guy who has been, the head of a big-time program. He's been in the college football playoff a number of times. This just made sense to me.
Well, this whole idea that Lincoln is not man enough to go into the SEC is a bunch of BS, because I'm going to tell you something. Lincoln Riley could go with Oklahoma into the SEC and be a great team and come in fourth place and not make the playoffs. It's kind of like using a basketball kind of a scenario. It'd be like playing basketball in the ACC in its heyday. You could be the fourth or fifth place team. You could be North Carolina State with Jim Valvano, and you could still, get into the playoffs because they expand the teams or they don't expand the teams. But the point being is, why would you want to try to put your career on the line in the SEC? You know that Oklahoma would have a short leash after about 2 years if they don't go to the playoffs. And they could be a great team that could win 90% of the other conferences, and you get fired and look like a bad coach, but you're not. I agree with you 200% that it all came down to Lincoln Riley not being happy with Oklahoma going into the SEC and said, wait a minute, I can get to that championship game and win it all at SC without half the hassles of trying just to get into the playoffs. Because let's face it, even if they expand to 12 teams, okay, are there going to be more than 2 SEC teams represented? He could be the third or fourth great SEC team that doesn't get in the playoffs. Why is he going to get fired over that? Because, Oklahoma has a standard they want to live up to. So, no, I think it was a brilliant move on his part, not because I cover USC, but strictly on a professional level. They're going to dominate out here. Anybody who thinks that SC's not going to dominate, and I'm not saying they're going to get back to the Pete Carroll level, but I'm going to tell you something. They are going to be a force. This is a national change of topography, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. Greg Katz on your radio covers USC for We Are SC on your radio right now, Monday edition of the program. And Greg, let me ask you this, because we know Lincoln Riley can coach quarterbacks. You take Spencer Rattler off the table for whatever that didn't work out for him this year. He was able to mold, transfer quarterback after transfer quarterback after transfer quarterback, from Baker Mayfield to Kyler Murray to Jalen Hurts. And, you look at what he was doing with Caleb Williams at Oklahoma. He's going to bring talent into SC. He's going to improve the recruiting profile. You know what kind of offense it's going to run. It's going to be wide open. They're going to get after it. We've talked about this too. SC, it seems like there's buy-in, and then if the program's kind of out there in left field, then the buy-in's not. Do you expect the buy-in to be back? Fans back in the stands, the alumni, all of the swag and everything that makes SC when football is relevant there. Do you expect that to return?
Yes, I do, and I'm pretty objective and maybe at times pessimistic about it. I don't know if people from your end of the country were watching some of the games on television recently that were national telecasts of USC, and you looked in the stands, and they would say there's 50,000 when there was probably 30,000. I've never seen it this bad. And the reason it's this bad is the fans are just fed up with it. I mean, they finally have said, okay, we'll boycott by not going to the game. If you're going to put a lousy product, you can't do it in LA. There's just too many things going on, too many icons, Dodgers, Rams, Lakers. I mean, you can turn and leave your devoted USC football and turn to, I'll go to the beach. So it demands a high level. I think that only the Lincoln Riley, because it was out of left field, only a Lincoln Riley type, should we say, hire could inject the type of enthusiasm I haven't seen at SC in probably a decade, to be honest with you. The fans are really fired up. The recruiting in Southern California, if you know the recruits and you follow Oklahoma football, already Rayleigh Brown of Santa Ana Mater Dei, who's one of the top running backs in the country, has already put out a tweet that said, staying home. You have, Malachi Nelson from Los Alamitos out here, who's considered either the first or second best quarterback in the country for the class of 223. And now his parents are saying, we're going to have to look at USC strongly now. This is a complete U-turn. They may not have the quantity of recruits that they would have under a normal Lincoln Riley deal, but the quality is going to be, I think it's going to be off the chart. I think it's going to be stunning. And Greg, we'll get you out the door with this. The transfer portal, which is now it is a part of everything. I mean, coaches have to know how to navigate this transfer portal. Do you expect SC, I don't want to say to get an influx of transfers because you don't want to build a program around transfers, but would you expect a player or two or three to come with Lincoln Riley or to want to be a part of what's going on there? I think so. I mean, even Alabama's taken portal transfers. It's who they are. There's only maybe, in my opinion, 2% of the portal transfers are legitimate quality players who could be with you for more than a year. And I think that they will try to do that. I think the roster is going to be in flux, after they play Cal on Saturday night in the Know-Nothing Bowl. I think that you're going to see a change. I think they'll go to the portal probably for offensive linemen, but I think in the end they're going to go back to to getting high school players and developing them. And I think the best is yet to come. It's really going to be intriguing to see what's going to happen, especially staffing, for the coaching staff as well, because that's those guys are the ones who are in contact with the recruits, on a one-to-one basis, and players do care who their position coaches are. He's Greg Katz. We are SC, always kind enough to give us some time when we call. Greg, hey, I appreciate your time. I know you got the press conference coming up. We'll do it again soon. Thank you so much for having me.
You bet, Greg. Talk to you soon. Greg Katz on the Malone Roofing Caller Line. That's brought to you by Went McGee. He is